That was the Greensboro Massacre, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, November 3rd, 1979. 30 years ago this minute, at 11:23 a.m., November 3rd, 1979, the Greensboro Massacre happened. There was a shootout here between two violent, hate-filled, extremist, murderous groups. The communists, in this case the Communist Workers' Party, and the Ku Klux Klan. The shooting took place at this site. This used to be the corner of Everett and Carver. It's now the corner of Everett and Bingham. In the last 3 years there have been some modifications made. Many of the old buildings are torn down and new ones rebuilt. This is the community center that used to exist, but it's not the same building. The old building was torn down and a new building is in its place. The first shots were fired about where that truck is parked right now. They were fired by a Klansman. The Klan had moved up this street, came up this way, and began parking over there, and some of them over there. The area that I'm standing in used to be a parking lot, and I believe there were some buildings here. As I said, everything is completely different. The buildings are totally different than what used to exist. Where that building is now, there used to be a grassy area, and the first building wasn't until inland a little bit, past where this building is now. On this grassy area, some Klansmen had parked right about up there, maybe near that light post. That was the back vehicle of Milano Caudell, the Klansman's blue Ford Fairlane was parked there. And that's where you could see the film footage of them getting out and coming over and shooting with some of the communist demonstrators. A Cuban communist, Cesar Cauze, was there. And right where this car's coming, there was a intersection where a car was parked at that area, right inside the intersection. It was parked diagonal in the middle of the street. It was owned by Tom Clark, a communist. And that's where a shotgun was grabbed from one of the communists, Bill Sampson grabbed. And Jerry Smith, a Klansman, came out and started firing. You could see the footage right where that house is. He was on the grass area firing at Cesar Cauze, the Cuban communist, ran up to him and started firing the gun, and then ran back to his back to the pickup truck or whatever vehicle they were at. There's my vehicle now. Right in front of it is about where a yellow Toyota covered pickup truck was. In front of that was a news vehicle for one of the many news crews that were here. And in front of that is where people were laying down, sheltering themselves from getting laying down on the ground in front of where that black vehicle is, to guard themselves from the gunfire. Cesar Cauze, the communist, died right about where that porch is, roughly. Up a ways, maybe about where this mailbox and that porch is there. Jim Waller died, another communist. Sandy Smith, the only black and the only woman to die, another communist, died up where there was a porch there in the community center. Again, it was a different community center than the one that's here now. From a little bit closer, Bill Sampson was a little closer than Sandy Smith, firing a shotgun when he was killed during the shootout. None of the Klansmen got killed, but 5 communists were dead that day. One severely paralyzed and a few others wounded. The communists were holding a death to the Klan rally here, and the Klan showed up and began shooting at them. All took place right around here. There were hundreds of people around that day. A lot of demonstrators, maybe a dozen or so Klans members, 1 or 2 dozen, all showing up here. And as I said earlier, all the buildings are completely different back then. There is still a Carver Street. It's that way quite a bit. It's only 1 block long. It no longer connects here. Bingham used to become Carver way down there, but now it's just Bingham coming up here. So 30 years ago, I wasn't sure if anyone would be here to commemorate the event. Any news crews, any communists, perhaps some Klansmen, who knows. But they may very well be commemorating it at a cemetery where they have a memorial stone for the 5 dead communists. Again, one more close shot where Sandy Smith died and Bill Sampson died, right around this area. There used to be a porch here in the old building. And I believe Jim Waller died right about there on the grass. Maybe inland. Some of these old buildings were back further than these houses are. It's still a community center. They have lots of kids playing. Really nice. So, this is history, folks. When the pickup truck owned by the communists was parked diagonally in this street here, originally, a bunch of Klansmen came right in this intersection with big sticks, 2x4s, and started beating and fighting with the communist demonstrators who also had 2x4s. Maybe that siren is reminiscent of how it was 30 years ago at this time. There were no police at the scene, but they showed up shortly afterwards. To give an idea of the murderous nature of the 2 hate-filled groups during the Greensboro Massacre, we need to look at the number of people who've died because of them. Down here, we have the Ku Klux Klan murder rate. 4,700 people over the years have died because of the Klan. They were not mass murders, but they killed many innocent people, lynching blacks and other people trying to vote, things of that nature. And the communists had a humongous toll of 100 million people that they killed. So when you see the murder rates of the 2 groups, you get an idea of the enormous casualties of human life that they have caused. And that sums up this historical chapter of what took place this day 30 years ago, the Greensboro Massacre.